How's it going, everyone? So today we're going to put diff covers on the Power Wagon to get ready for its trip to the crazy Moab, Utah. It's going to identify as a rock crawler here coming up in a few weeks. I need to add protection to the diffs. We've already been into our diff covers plenty of times, so I figured why not put some nice diff covers on it. We're going to put AEV covers on. They're, nodular iron. We have this style on both the Jeeps and it works great. They're not AEV, but the cover, the style of it. So these have a nice, very large fill port on the top of the diff. I mean, this is, you can get 2 fingers in all day long type of thing. So it still has your factory port, so if you want to fill it that way you can, but this is also your sight port for your fluid level. And you have a drain down here, which I do like having a drain. I know that's kind of controversial, but I use Teflon tape and I honestly don't have problems with leaks. So either way, we gotta throw some diff covers on it. All right, let's see. Oh, I probably should have pulled that out. I won't hit my face on that, will I? All right. What kind of drama is this going to be? All right, so first glance, I've got brake line brackets, another little clip here. So we can get that. I believe I'm gonna have to take the sway bar loose, so we'll probably have to take it off the diff, which hopefully that goes better than it did on the Gladiator, because I've had issues with those. It's the same exact style too, so we'll see. Hopefully it goes good, but I think that's gonna be about all that. It's not going to be much drama to do this. Oh, you can see here. I guess I told you about it, but I didn't even show you. I've peeled this up pretty bad. Right here. Smashed into them here. Been up in this. The diffs on these trucks hang down a lot. I mean, I know it's a 3/4 ton truck, but this isn't one of the highest clearance 3/4 ton diffs. I'll tell you that for sure. And this is an AAM. I don't remember what size off the top of my head. I'm going to figure out what sizes all this is, being my toolbox is clear in the front of the garage right now. I'm going to run back and forth, figure out what all the sizes are of what I know that I'm going to have to play with, and we'll be back. All right, so the cover bolts all the way around are indeed a 13. Obviously you're going to want a deep for over here. I'm not sure if there is another nut behind this, if this is a stud on the brake line bracket or not, but we'll find that out. And then the sway bar bracket bolts are a 15. So let's see if we get lucky with that. I just grabbed deep sockets for both. Okay. And do I want to tie it up? That's a bonus too. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's another problem. I'll see if I have another end link. I might have a spare one. This is actually, I think from a Jeep. Yeah, when this kit came in, when the Metal Cloak kit came in, this is the same ones they use on the Wranglers. So I might have another end link, which would be good because that one's, this bolt is actually stripped. I forgot all about it. See, that's the problem. I know I'm not the only one. When you say, you know what, I'll fix that later. Well, later keeps on getting later and later and later. Well, now it feels to me like I've wallered out my sway bar and link, or my sway bar itself. So we'll see. I might be able to get that taken care of finally. You know, just a little late. Let's see here. I'd like to get this tucked out of the way somehow or another. Hey. Hey. That'll work. All right, moving on. Diff cover bolts. So, your best bet is to pull all your bottom bolts out, and you want to leave a few up top, and you loosen them up. You crack the seal so that it drains out. I don't think this diff has a drain. No, no drain. So, you have to crack it, the diff cover, break the seal so the fluid runs out before you take all the bolts out. Otherwise, it's going to be an impressive mess. So, that's what we'll do. Okay, get up there. These little things, I don't even remember what they call them. I can't think of it right now, but usually you just grab a pair of needle nose or a pair of side cutters and just get a good bite and yank these off, because these things are not always a one-time use, but they're a pain in the butt. You got to flatten them and stuff. When you go to put them on, though, they're nice because you can just push them on usually, or use a socket that's just bigger than the stud itself and just kind of whack it on there. Come on. Ah. Yep. All right. So, I'll take these guys out too. Oh gosh. Oh, it's already starting to leak. Good. So, we'll just kind of keep loosening, but luckily I got a pan here, although I forgot to take this out. Oh gosh. How long can I stretch? Not very long. Nah. I think this is probably one of the worst smelling fluids in the automotive industry. I don't even like servicing diffs, but it is what it is, you know, it's part of the game. This one was doing a lot. But, yep. You can kind of open her up a little more. Normally you gotta put something in there and pop it loose to get it to let loose, but it's actually being nice. Oh, I think I feel a gasket in here. Oh, I hope I'm right. I'm pretty sure I do. If that's the case, I'll be cleaning that up as long as it's in good enough shape. And if it seems like it fits on that new cover, we'll be using a gasket. I bought a can of Right Stuff, but gaskets have a great benefit, and this is one of them right here. If you have to do anything in the field, you don't have to clean a bunch of silicone off. You can just get a little brake cleaner on a rag, wipe it clean of the oil, and boom, you're good. All right. Most all that fluid is out now, so we will take the bolts out all the way. With this new diff cover, I will not be reusing these bolts, so I don't even have to worry about cleaning the threads up. Come on, creeper. Roll away! Oh, fine. Stay here, creeper. All right, it does have a gasket, and it is in good shape. So, there's the diff. So far, this one has never made a lick of noise. It's been great. So, I'm going to assume that we have no problem. I don't see any weird scarring on this section of ring gears. I don't see no sparklies. I'm pretty positive we are rock solid in this diff. Now, I'm just gonna let it kind of run out a little bit longer, and then I'll start trying to get more out with like a rag so that it kind of stops dripping out. That way we can get it all cleaned up. I'm gonna clean that gasket up too. When you're doing these diff covers, I thought AEV forgot to send me one of the plugs because they got the great big monster one on top, that tiny drain one on the bottom, but right in the instructions it says that you have to reuse your factory fill plug. I kind of think that's silly personally. Oh well, you could always go and buy it. It's a pipe plug, I'm sure. At the price point, apparently they couldn't afford a $4 fitting in the box. Now I understand they sell a lot of them, I'm sure. So like I said, I'm gonna let this drain a little more. I'll wipe it out some, clean the gasket up, get some brake cleaner on a rag, clean this up as well. Fingers crossed that the front one goes as smooth. I figured I'd show you the diff cover off the Power Wagon. This is off the rear. This is the lower side. That's the bottom of it. You can tell by all the nasty bends in it. So the fluid obviously stays down here. If you look up here, you see it's dark. This is just natural wear and tear. Then you got the plug. I haven't pulled it out yet or even touched it, but I can see there's just shavings. That's common. It's not anything to be concerned of. There is small things down in here, small little chunks, but it's not metal. So I don't know if I just had stuff get in through the breather tube or what. I didn't see any water come out either. Water would have been the first thing to come out of the diff cover. So, or the last thing, my bad. But I didn't see any water come out, no moisture in there, so I don't know what to take from that other than it's fine. The gasket is a really nice gasket that comes on at factory. It's metal with rubber on both sides. There's a kind of a famous brand that everybody talks about called Lube Locker. I'm sure there's other brands too, but this reminds me a lot of the Lube Locker. So like I said, I'm going to clean it up and we're going to reuse the gasket. So I got to put thread tape on my drain plug, and I have to get the fill plug out of this. I'm going to wipe that fluid out before I flip it upside down, but it's on the back side. So we're going to do that and get this buttoned up. All right, the drain plug is a 5/16 Allen key. I Teflon taped it. You can see I am never worried about that. I would much rather have it seal and have stuff hanging off not looking pretty than having it looking pretty and leaking everywhere. So that's done. Also, something else to point out that I should have done, and maybe you guys caught on to this, I should have cracked my fill plug, broke it loose before I pulled the diff cover, because getting that off when the diff cover is not attached to anything was not ideal. It was just a 3/8 ratchet. I can't even, a 3/8 ratchet drive. I can't even think of the word right now. Also, the factory uses a rubber gasket on this. Now, it is not tapered threads, so it is not pipe thread. Pretty sure it's not. Man, I have a hard time telling looking at it. But, and this diff cover is a little porous around the edge. I might still put Teflon tape on this I don't really think it's needed, but this isn't a really thick rubber gasket either. So I don't know. I'm still gonna put Teflon tape on mine. Do what you want there. I know I'm gonna be in water and all kinds of stuff, so I'm going to err on the side of caution. But definitely want to get your plug in before you go too far. Otherwise, you're gonna have a hell of a mess. Okay, I'm also going to do blue Loctite. I'm gonna do a dab of blue Loctite on all my diff cover bolts, just so it doesn't, you know, work their way loose, because there is no lock washers. So, and I'm gonna check and find, and if you guys don't have an Allen set like this, by the way, I went so many years without having a set like this. This is from Harbor Freight. It's Quinn brand. It's actually impressively good. A lot of times you have cheap Allens and it'll round out or round the Allen heads off, and the Torx bits, same thing. You'll strip the heads out. I've taken seatbelt bolts loose and everything with this kit. So, but we're gonna go through, while I got you here, I'm gonna find out what size Allens we have to use for the cover bolts themselves. Looks like they did not keep it standard. No, so what the heck is going on here? I got some junk in this one. I'm going to assume it's the same size. Yeah, it is. So H6. I just got to clean the bolt head out. There's got some junk in there, so I'm gonna get that done, get the blue Loctite down there, and I still have not went underneath there and cleaned it up yet. We had a visitor stop by for a little bit, but I'm gonna clean that up and try to get the fluid to stop dripping out. Usually I'll stick a rag in there and pull out a bunch more of the fluid. That way when it pools up in the bottom, it doesn't pool up enough to run just out. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, so we're back under here again finally. So like I was saying, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a shop rag up in here further and try to swoop this oil out, because there's a little divot underneath the gear, and try to pull fluid out, which didn't really work real well there. That's the good thing about having that gasket. There's not a bunch of silicone residue or anything, so that's pretty handy. Also, I should note too, the truck calls for 7585. 75W85. Maybe you all have that in your area. That doesn't seem to exist here. So we are going to be running 7590. From what I've gathered, that's not an uncommon thing off the internet. Obviously, if it's on the internet, it's not wrong. You know this, right?
No comment. But yes.
So I guess I will let you know if it causes catastrophic failure. I extremely doubt it. I'm still running a full synthetic as they want. In my dash, the Power Wagon says that it does not need, or no, that it needs full synthetic, but it does not need any friction modifier. I guess we're good on that avenue. This will only seal as good as your prep work. I'm gonna make sure it's good and sealed up or cleaned up. Looks good to me. Okay, now I gotta clean the gasket. I'll probably have to touch that up a little bit more before we slap the cover on, but we're getting there now. Okay. So, turns out this diff cover is like way heavier. And I forgot the socket for the bolts. Okay. So what I'm going to do is have this ready, because the this diff cover is no joke. What I'm probably going to do after I verify this goes on here again. Flip. Nope. Flip again. Maybe it'll work this way. Nope. There's the straight. Looks like there's the straight. Okay, what the heck is going on here? Okay, you don't fit that way. It'd be really funny if I just did all this and this isn't even the right cover. All right, well, guess what? Diff cover is not going on. Apparently, in the midst of all the fun, we ordered the wrong one. It's one letter off. We ordered AB and we needed AA. So, we ordered the other one on Amazon. Hopefully it shows up in time. So, for now, our floor is nasty. It's super wet because of all the humidity in the air right now, which is crazy for this time of year. All right, everyone. We're going to be doing the front valve cover. Ay, ay, ay. All right, everyone. We're going to be switching out the front differential cover on our 2018 Ram Power Wagon. It's going to be a 10 millimeter for all of the bolts, which is pretty small for a diff cover, but it works. I have beat this one up pretty good. Somehow it's still sealed up, but we're going to change it out for one that's a lot more beefy and should be able to take a few more hits. I do believe I can leave my tie rod on. Now this is a factory tie rod, but I'm pretty sure I do not have to take either one of the ends off. I should have enough clearance to remove this. We shall see. Crazy, which once again we've never had any noises or slight concerns at all, but everything seems to be decent in here. All right, we'll let that drain for a while. This is my diff cover. Okay, hold on here, there we go. So see how that's all bent up and mangled up. That's the bottom normally. This one's all chewed up too, all bent up. It's real easy to get into the diff covers on these big trucks because they hang down so low. So that's what's going on. We've been dodging it. We've never had it leak somehow. I don't know how. But once again, like I keep saying, this thing is going to identify as a rock crawler. We got to go to Moab, and it's going to end up getting put through the paces. So, with that being said, we need a better diff cover. I have one right here. Heavy duty nodular iron, nice big fill port right here. This fill port's huge, so you can fill it easily on the vehicle. It has your factory fill port right here at the same level. That's how you'll check your fluid level. And it has a drain plug on the bottom. I personally am a fan of that. I know a lot of people do not like it. I will thread tape it. I've never had one leak, so I like them because I can make them not leak. And it also makes fluid changes easy. So if I suspect that I got water in there, I could just drain it and then put the plug back in, fill it up. So I'm a fan of them. Now on this diff cover, there is one spot, I'm gonna pick back up here, that comes extremely close to the track bar bracket bolt. That is right here. This is the very top, right here, and they actually have it notched in on the casting. It's thinner here, but it's a tapered bolt head, and they send you with a tapered Allen screw. So take note of that. Although when you're putting it together, I'm pretty sure that's going to stick out. But I've got to thread tape my pipe plug, and I got to remove my fill plug on my old cover. Not ideal, but that's also not a deal breaker. So yeah, I'm gonna get that bolt out of my other diff cover, get this pipe plug sealed up and installed, and I'll track down what Allen sizes the new hardware is. The drain plug on the bottom of the diff cover is a 5/16 Allen. The tapered bolt is a 3/16 Allen. And then all of the other bolts to hold the diff cover on are a 6mm. So you have to have 3 different Allens, 1 metric, 2 standards. Not ideal, but you know, thread pitch and all that. So also go through and double check your bolts. This is the second diff cover from AEV that I have tried now. They seem to have a problem with their bolts. I'm not sure why or how, but a whole bunch of crud gets inside the Allen heads, and then it's like they're dirty and they treat them. So the crud is like sealed into there. So you have to use a pick or a screwdriver and just dig all the junk out of it. I'm not sure what that's all about. I read online somebody put it in a review even. So have that be known. You may have the same problem. Anyways, I'm gonna get the gasket cleaned up, because they use gaskets on these, which are awesome. Clean the diff out some so the fluid doesn't keep running out. And then I'm gonna use brake cleaner on a rag and get the surface really clean. I'm gonna double check this surface is clean as well, even though it's a brand new cover. And get all geared up to put this one on. So these are a lot heavier, so it's a little more awkward.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right, so let's see how it goes adding the fluid. Pop the top off. My initial thought is I'll be able to do it without even having to cut the tip off and just go straight open bottle. It could be a huge mess. I don't know. Let's see. Nope, that is convenient. For the record, my truck is sitting on the ground. I don't have anything disconnected. The concept of this big fill port up top is slick. Yeah, okay, so that port's pretty convenient. I am not gonna lie, that is the fastest I've ever put a damn quart of diff fluid in anything. I'm not sure how much it's gonna take either. That's the other concern. I don't wanna waste a bunch of this, because it's not exactly cheap this day and age. Looks like it's taken all 2 quarts so far. I do wonder if I can get a finger in there and see how low I am. Well, it's not touching, so we're definitely diving into a 3rd bottle. Will it take all 3? I don't know. Oh. Okay, 2.5. Looks like where you'll be at. I'm gonna try just the gasket as Mopar did. The cover plug is just a rubber gasket. And it's not a pipe thread. Okay. I am going to put a little grease on this O-ring, a little diff fluid on the O-ring for the large fill plug. They made it to where it's a 3/8, just like the factory fill plug. That is that. I will venture to say that I definitely like it. Oh man, get up here. So, I definitely do like it. The diff cover itself is, I mean, it's like nodular iron, cast iron. Heavy duty. I like that the bolts are recessed. I'm never a fan of Allen or Torx bits though. They get packed full of stuff. It's easier to strip them. But that's a minor thing. I do feel like they need to take a little more care in their hardware. Having to chip out a bunch of junk out of your brand new bolts is crazy. Either that or just have you reuse your old ones. Just recess it for your standard bolt. That'd be fine too, in my opinion. All in all though, I like them. We have the same material on the wife's Jeep, the JKU, and on the Gladiator actually, more I think about it. It's a strong material, so it adds up. Checks out. Fits real well. Really, I think it's just the very fine detail, like the hardware. I love that fill plug. It's also angled some, so when you go to put the whole bottle with no nozzle on there, super easy. So, and if it was easy on the front, the rear is going to be a cakewalk because the front has all your suspension parts in the way. So that right there is amazing. You could honestly, well, if I'd have had my jugs just sitting right there, I could have filled that even faster. And from what mine was doing, I'm going to say you're about 2.5 quarts on the front diff. This is a 2018 Power Wagon. I'll let you know when I get the rear done how much it holds.
And you gotta put your own emblem on.
I already wiped it down, so.
And if you don't use these and you use brake cleaner,
It softens the powder coat some, so I wouldn't do that. I've tested that theory. It's not great.
choo choo, Anamosa.
You know, it depends on if you're going number 3 or 491. Because number 3 at the Cripple Creek is Nicanaconda. And Alamosa is the 491.
Where's the 491 at?
Colorado River Museum.
Oh.
That's Heiss's engine.
Was.
Well, he still, I'm sure he still goes to visits.
Maybe.
I mean, they're both in Colorado.
Yes.
Oh, the one's in Durango, and one's in Golden.
Which is basically Denver.
Yeah.
Thought you were gonna get the jack out.
Yeah, well, I gotta do that, and then I gotta get to the front and take it out too. Otherwise, the residual fluid's gonna keep running out.